I thought I'd do a talk again about eschatology. A couple of people mentioned the eschatology podcast, and I thought I would just enlarge on that a little bit and try and explain it, because it sounds, realised eschatology, when I first heard it, it sounded quite complicated, because eschatology is about the second coming of Christ, the second coming of Jesus, but the subtextual meaning for me, the arcana, is that it means that the second coming is not an external thing. We're not sitting here waiting for a new prophet. The eschatology is the belief that the second coming of Christ is the birth of consciousness in us, the birth of the observer, which we talked about on one of the other podcasts. We talked about the observer, and that the one technique, the one breath, the one sound, the primal sound, which is no sound. So we come back to the same thing again and again. So eschatology is saying that we're not waiting for the birth of Christ. We don't even have to believe that Christ walked the earth, or that Buddha walked the earth, or that Krishna walked the earth. We don't have to believe that. It's just recognizing that these are stories and parables and metaphors that are telling us that the Christ is in us, the prophet is in us, Krishna is in us, consciousness is in us, it's here, the guru is here, we are the guru, we are the one breath. And it's difficult to take responsibility for that, because it means we've got to go out and we've got this incredible machine and this incredible ability to do things with it. We've got to go out and be uncomfortable and learn how to do that. So eschatology is saying that everything you want, everything you need, everything you want to access is already there. It's already there. We're just not able to grasp it. So it's what the Muhammad said. He said, it's within my reach but beyond my grasp. Show me how to access it. So it means I can see it, but I can't grab it. I know it's there. So you might look and think, I've got no money. I can see other people have got money, and I can see there's money in the world, but I'm not able to access it. So it's within my reach but beyond my grasp. So eschatology is saying that it's all yours, everything is yours, everything comes from the same breath, from the same clay, and all we have to do is expand our consciousness, or expand our awareness, or expand our light, so that we can see where it is and then go and access it. In other words, get ourselves into the same state of what it is we want. So if you imagine your antenna on the roof, if it's that far out, it only needs to be that far out of alignment to make the difference between 500 channels and snow. So when we align ourselves, eschatology is saying that when we align ourselves to the right frequency, at the moment your life might seem like it's snow. Might seem like there's nothing there, or there's not enough of anything. When you align yourself to the right state, you fall automatically into the alignment of 500 channels. Not just like I'm nearly in alignment, oh there's another channel, I'm nearly in alignment, there's another channel. You bring yourself into alignment, and you suddenly have 500 channels all in one go. They're there, they're always there. You could say, well, there's no sky, I don't believe in sky, I've got a television, I can only get 3 channels. But your neighbour next door is getting 500 channels. Maybe he's getting 1,000 channels. He's got an antenna, and that antenna is aligned in the right direction, and he's got the connections so that he can bring in 500 channels or 1,000 channels. So we just need to be in alignment. The difference between alignment and 500 channels and snow, it can be as little as that much. So when we talk about, there's a really good book actually, if you get a chance to look at it, called Asking It Is Given. I think it's by Esther Hicks. Asking it will be given. Some people dismiss these books, but I've looked at her stuff and it's amazing. And some of the stuff they talk about in there about alignment and about states is really profound. Obviously, we've always got to do the work. We've got to do the things to get ourselves into alignment. You know, we've got to work on ourselves to prepare ourselves for this. You know, it's no good me having an antenna on the roof to pick up 500 channels if I haven't got a screen in the house. We've got to be able to prepare ourselves. We've got to prepare the room. So eschatology is saying it's always been there, it always is there, it's always there in potential. All you have to do is get yourself into the right state and you will align with it. When you align with it, it's already yours. I've got a friend that I mentor called Johnny, and every time I mentor him in London, I take him up to Buckingham Palace and I say, what do you see? Tell me what you see, Johnny. He's a really courageous man, this lad. I work with this lad and he really stands in front of his fears. I really love him. He does the difficult stuff. He's ascending very quickly because he does the difficult stuff. He stands in front of the things that he's afraid of. He stands in front of the things that are blocking him from his kingdom. So we look at this Buckingham Palace as a kingdom. What's stopping us from going in there? What do we see? And of course we see the bars around the palace. We see the guards. We see the locks, and we see that there are people outside staring in and they can't get in. And it seems as though there's nothing of them. But actually, when you're in the right alignment, when you're in the right state, those gates just open. I was in there a few years ago with a friend of mine, and I went in. There was a big presentation for something. I won't go into the detail, it doesn't really matter. It was my friend was getting an award, and those gates opened. Those guards didn't stop me, they invited me in. They showed me where to go, they showed me where to get a drink, they showed me where to get food. I met the Prince Philip. There was no one blocking me from doing that. There was nothing between me and them. So the gates that are locked and the gates that keep you out suddenly just miraculously open. That was because I was in the right state for that to happen. So when we're in the right state, those gates open effortlessly. They open on their own. Not just that they open, but you're invited in. Not just that you're invited in, but you're compelled to go in. They want you to go in. They want you to go in and have awards. They want you to be a part of what they're doing. They want you to be a part of the service of the community. The awards we went to was City and Guilds Award for services, and my friend was getting an award, my friend Jason. And it was amazing to see that they were saying, when you serve people, we want to mark that. We want to award you, give you an award. We want to give you something to say this is the right thing to do. You're on the right track. So all of those gates just opened when I was in the right state. But they won't open if you're in the wrong state. And the wrong state is a perception. It's a cognition. It's a belief. Perceptions and cognitions and beliefs can be changed. But only if we're so tired of those old beliefs that we start looking at them. So when I mentor people, I identify where their beliefs are limiting, where their beliefs are negative, where their beliefs are damaging, and I help them to look at them and dissolve them. So that's what we do. So the key is to get into the right state. And if you're watching this video now, then that's partly what you're doing already. You're getting yourself into the right state. If you come away from this and it's worked, you'll feel inspired, you'll feel aligned, and it will encourage you to read books and to go to, to get mentoring or to go on courses and to better yourself. It will encourage you to change your beliefs, to change your perceptions, to change your cognitions. It will encourage you to do that. So it will encourage you to learn to access different states. So if you can't access money, you're just not in the right state. You've got to access the right state. And I'm not saying this like it's that easy. I mean, it is that easy, but it's not that easy. Because between you and that state will be lots of beliefs that will be terrifying. And I've seen kids kill themselves before challenging beliefs. Before they challenge the belief, they'd rather throw themselves under a train or hang from the nearest oak. Because beliefs can be very powerful and they've got lots of social and cultural backing. There's lots of weight there, but they're still only beliefs. They're still only perceptions and cognitions, and they can be changed. So I'm saying conceptually it's easy. I'm saying that practically it's very difficult, and I've spent a lifetime changing my beliefs. So I know this is true. I have no doubt. This is how I live my life. I've changed my state on several occasions. I've changed my life over and over again. And the assistance is there, the guidance is there. That's what this is out in the world now for, just to give people guidance. So eschatology is saying that you are living in an abundant reality. You're just not aware of it. You have to change the perceptions and the cognitions that say there is not abundance, and get proof that there is abundance. You know there's abundance because you see it. You only have to look out the window, and you know. This one of my friends, Tom, had an encounter with God, and he said the biggest thing he got from it was, he said, if you don't believe it's possible, have a look out the window and see the universe and see how magnificent it is and see how vast it is. He said you'll see that it's possible. Everything's possible. It's all possible. But we have to do the work. We have to be prepared to do the work. We have to be prepared to deliberately suffer. When I say deliberately suffer, what I mean is we have to be prepared to, when this fear rises up and it's compelling, we have to be able to stand in front of it but not engage it. Feel the feelings but not engage it, not act on it. That's deliberate suffering. And when you do that, your observer will grow massively, especially when you stand in front of very difficult, frightening things. It will just keep growing. It will keep growing. So eschatology, realise the eschatology is saying that you have access to everything. You've just forgotten. It's like you've got £1 billion in the bank, but you've forgotten it's yours and you've forgotten the code. So our job then is about expanding ourselves so that we can find the code through books, through audios, through talks, through mentoring, through just going out into the world and experiencing it, proving it to yourself. On one of my courses, I got one guy that had come on the course who would, I think his nan had died and he'd left some money, so he was on the dole, but he paid for the course with the money his nan had left him. And he got shorts and a t-shirt on, and he was partnered with another guy who in shorts and a t-shirt, same height, come from the same place, working class background. One of them believed there was no money in the world, there wasn't enough money, and the other one was got a company that had 1,000 people working for him, and he was turning over 100 plus million. And he didn't think he was touching the sides. He felt there was much more room for him to grow. So one of them, these were partnered together. One of them didn't believe there was enough money in the world. One of them knew there was an infinite amount of potential. So as soon as this guy partners with the guy that runs the company, he can no longer pretend that there's an us and them and that there's no money, because he's next to somebody, he's seeing the proof. So then what he's left with is, if he can do it, why am I not doing it? That's the question. He's not doing it because of his beliefs, because of his perceptions, because of his cognitions. So once he starts having a desire to explore more, he'll start to challenge those old beliefs. He'll start to change those old those old perceptions and cognitions. He'll start to do it, but it isn't going to happen on its own. It's not going to come to you unless you initiate it. You have to initiate it. The first thing to do, always for me, if you want to expand your conscious net and understand more about eschatology, understand more about the abundance that is our inheritance, is start to get your palate right. Start to meditate consistently. Start to read more books. Start to educate yourself. Start to challenge the things around you that you've always believed. If you believe it's, I don't know, if you believe it's not possible to have a detached house, then maybe you should explore that. If you believe it's not possible to be healthy, if you believe it's impossible not to get on in the workplace, challenge that. Go for the foreman's job or go for the manager's job, and you'll find with the moment you go to do it that nobody's stopping you other than you. Nobody. Nothing can stop you if you're determined, if you really want to do it, if you really set your mind on it, nothing will stop you. So realise eschatology is saying that do not wait for outside sources to create the change in you. Start the change in you yourself. Don't wait for people, don't wait for the lottery. Don't sit on the side of the road begging for money. Go out and create it for yourself. Go out and create that shape, create that expansion. It's there, it's yours, it's your inheritance.